Waste. I was in a meeting and someone mentioned that waste is really a verb and not a noun. Let's think about that statement. There is no waste in nature. Everything is reused or recycled back into the system. But we humans have been leaning far too heavily on the noun side of things and think of most things as waste, something to toss or ignore, out of sight, out of mind. But the idea that we can keep generating waste is fundamentally unsustainable. I'm going to show you that much of what we consider waste is really a resource that should be utilized and appreciated. So let's look at 3 resource areas where we've been especially wasteful and what we're doing to move beyond waste. First is materials, or what we often call garbage, rubbish, or trash. I think it's kind of funny that one of the synonyms for garbage is foolishness. Any of you remember these days? Everything went to the dump, never to be spoken of again. Fortunately, Tacoma began curbside recycling pickup over 30 years ago. And just last year, we built a new state-of-the-art recovery and transfer station at the landfill. It has a huge tipping floor where we're able to sort out recyclable materials from the waste stream, such as carpets, mattresses, and household appliances. The city's solid waste division now prefers to think of themselves as the materials management division. And you know it's springtime around Tacoma when you walk around the neighborhood smelling tagro in everyone's yards and gardens. Tagro has been rated one of the very best biosolids programs in the country. Even human waste isn't a waste. And all you Tacomans excited about getting your home food compost buckets this month? Food waste makes up 1/3 of the household trash generated by Tacoma households. But now it will be composted rather than sitting in a landfill forever. Let's move to the energy in our homes and businesses and the fuels and infrastructure we use to move us and our goods around. Tacoma Power customers since 2007 have saved enough energy to power over 16,000 homes. That's a savings of at least $12 million. One of the great things about working in the sustainability field is the opportunity to help people save money. It's the fun part of cutting budgets. We're saving water too. In the last 10 years, Tacoma water customers have cut water consumption by 23%. We've stopped wasting 21 gallons of water per person per day. And what a waste of this public space used just for cars. I wouldn't want to try to cross here. But increasingly, our public spaces are being used for multimodal transportation, including buses, bikes, walking, link light rail, and yes, vehicles too. Almost all of us own cars, but maybe we don't all have to own 2 or more. The average North American car is only utilized 66 minutes per day. But car sharing services like Zipcar, now available in several locations in Tacoma, are a practical solution for many urban dwellers. And then there's the fuels we put in our cars. Tacoma's fleet now includes several all-electric Nissan Leafs, and we've installed over a dozen public charging stations throughout town. And finally, the city is hopeful that we'll be able to work with organizations to install community solar projects on 4 city facilities, including 2 police substations. Our last category is our lands. While this vacant land was good for Scottsbroom, it wasn't benefiting our community. But just 1 year after these photos were taken, it looks like this. Now this land is bringing neighbors together to produce food and community connections. Since Tacoma and its partners committed to supporting community gardens, the numbers have grown from 8 in 2009 to over 30 planned for this summer. Folks growing their own food also tend to support local farmers, and now we have 4 farmers markets to choose from. This image shows a great use of public space. This is not the kind of structure that says walkability, livability, or shopping, especially on a main street in the middle of downtown. Pretty uninviting. But this is that same old ugly parking garage, now transformed into a LEED Platinum office retail parking structure. From downtown eyesore to the highest green building rating. What an amazing rebirth. And it even has a beautiful living roof that manages stormwater. Another great improvement on the typical wasted space within our city. And like rooftops, parking lots are another challenging urban dead space. Plus, they wastefully dump polluted rainwater straight into the Sound. But here's Jessica, who's led the city's efforts to install permeable asphalt in the parking lot at Cheney Stadium, drastically reducing the polluted stormwater from entering our storm drains. Grass planting strips, what a waste of space. But citizens are increasingly taking advantage of the city's street trees programs. And Tacoma's urban forestry plan aims to increase tree canopy cover to 30% by 2030. Trees are not only good for the environment, but the studies have also shown that they can increase property values. This intimidating photo is of Osarco, once a smelter, then 67 acres of dangerously polluted waterfront land. But it's now envisioned as a regional outdoor and commerce destination and a new home for Tacomans. Other neighborhoods are also seeing exciting investment and reimagining. Here's Martin Luther King Jr. Way in the Hilltop, envisioned with more urban growth and livability. And South Downtown is going through a planning process too that foresees more jobs and residents. The University of Washington Tacoma is designing the portion of the Prairie Lane Trail that cuts through their campus. It used to be an old wasted rail bed that faced away, where buildings faced away from. But now it's in the process of becoming an outdoor gathering space and bike pedestrian pathway cutting through the heart of downtown. This image is one early vision of what that looked like. And finally, does anyone recognize this? It was in many ways the definition of wasted and polluted dead space. But it was in the downtown, near a water. What a resource waiting to be rescued. This is where we're sitting today. The city and its many partners believed in our downtown and knew what an asset this land could become. While the vision isn't completed, the Theophos Waterway is a remarkable story of renewal and reclaiming the waste related to this land. So efficient and wasteless does not mean boring or sterile or homogeneous. On the contrary, as we've seen in these images, it can lead to creativity, community, beauty, and health. All of this sustainability transformation has been driven by community members like you because we care about the future of our families, our cities, and our planet. Less waste is good for everyone's economies, too. It means more money back into our pockets to get reinvested into our community. Think about your own wasteful practices and consider if you've made the kind of change Tacoma has. What does your Beyond Waste future look like? Thank you.